Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
And Jolie Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet, and we'd like to welcome you to today's show, where we have a lot in store for us moving into unspeakable beauty and the new earth. And John is going to tell us more about it.
Thank you, Jolie. Yes, Cosmic Evolution and Revelations with Lee and the Z's and with Elizabeth April. This is a really exciting show today because I think we're starting to tap into the enormity of the power that we have as humans. And I think that this is really a great point at which to accelerate the changes that are going on within us right now, because we know it's always an inside job. And I do feel that this is starting to open things up that will help to put the chaos around us in the world into some degree of perspective. Because once you realize what the long term path is for humanity, then you start to realize it is just trivia in a manner of speaking. Okay. Doesn't stop us from having compassion for anybody who's suffering through circumstances or whatever. But at the end of the day, it does make us help us to realize there is a greater purpose that sits behind all this, and everything is in divine order. So I think this is a really good starting point. So, a couple of things to tell you about today. Well, first of all, happy 22nd of Feb, because that's a 222 day, which is pretty special. So, hoping that the energies are going to be absolutely heightened today. Oh, and I suppose it's worth mentioning at least we still have San Francisco in place, because that was on the 18th of Feb, where it had been prophesized that it would no longer be on the map and that things were going to be changing. So, that was Kristen Husted, who had channeled Sophia, Wisdom of Ages. And it was actually interesting. So I was only listening this morning to a little bit of Kristen's work, and she responded to that, going back to Sophia, Wisdom of Ages, to kind of get the take. It's really quite interesting. And when you listen to it, it does actually make sense. And you kind of think, well, because at the end of the day, it was a prophecy that failed to materialize, therefore, credibility gone, right? End of story. But once you listen to what is said, because she was, I mean, in many ways, I'm sure she was not upset that her prophecy was not true, because that was something she was hoping. But at the same time, she was upset because she'd been given a message which turned out to be untrue. But yeah, the explanation does hold water, if you like. So I would, if you're interested, check out Kristen Husted on YouTube and just have a look at her latest one, because that is where she delves into that and explains what has happened. But anyway, yeah, welcome to everybody in San Francisco. Glad you're with us. So also one of the things I wanted to mention today is starting in March, which is only a week away, we will become that donation-based channel that we have talked about before to help us keep this show on the road, because the expenses are now risen to a point where we will struggle. If we don't have any form of income stream, we just won't be able to keep going. And I know there's many people who've looked to support us in the past before, paying through YouTube. And unfortunately, anything that goes through YouTube, we just don't get really now, and it's not YouTube's fault necessarily, but it's just kind of, we've got to provide a vehicle for those who are willing to support us and would like to support us to be able to do that, and again, be part of the community in that way as well. So a Patreon account will be available to anybody who wishes to support our work, but this is voluntary because we understand how financially pressed many are right now. So, and we don't want to make our work exclusive to anybody, but it's, if you would like to donate, then there'll be something that's available to you, and we will be very grateful for the support, because then we can start to offset some of the costs, and then we can keep things going. And ultimately, what we really want is to start to create an income stream which allows us to invest deeper and to create events that may cost money to put on, but at the end of the day, I think that what comes out of it will be amazing. And I do believe that is where Elevated Planet go, working with our community. So it's really good. And the other thing I was going to ask you is to please share our work whenever possible. Because one of the things we realized in recent times is that YouTube don't really do a very good job of sharing anything Elevated Planet have, when even people who are subscribed to the channel don't actually have it coming up on their feed. So if we don't share it, then basically the word will not get out any further. And if you have social media channels and things like that you use, then absolutely please do share it to those that you know will get it, because we do, acknowledge the fact that this is not a mainstream message, as we've said in recent weeks. This is now more for those who are on the path, but we know that there are more joining that path week in, week out, and you'll know who they are. And so I would just encourage that if this kind of work resonates with you, please do share it, because the more we can grow our community at this time, it is going to be important for everybody, right? It's going to be important for those who join our community, because all of a sudden they too will feel that level of connection, which is not always easy to get. So, yeah, and then I wanted to just mention that the interview that I did with Linda Carden is now available as of Friday. And thank you to Karina and Faye for the comments that you have made on that, because that's what we're asking for. We're asking for the community to not just to have a look at it, but also to provide you comments, because I think a lot of what Linda will say will actually resonate. And I know Faye in particular mentioned about the fact that she'd like to effectively be introduced to Linda, because the work that Faye does on the south coast of England, there are some similarities, there's some crossovers, and again, very heart-based, much like Linda, and certainly for both Karina and for Faye, there was a lot of things that they found there that really resonated with them. So that's a connection which will be made. So thank you. I know Faye's here today. I know Linda will be here today. So that's a connection that we're going to make, because it would be nice to have some transatlantic kind of synergies going on there, where maybe Linda and Faye do find a way to work together across there, and Elevated Planet can be that platform to help them as well. So the other one that I wanted to mention to you was the one that was released yesterday, which is a Sarah Land and the 11 spiritual roles that we are going through right now. And we published number 2, which is the seer on that list. And it was really fun doing that video, because Jolie is a seer. I know that because that is how I got to know her in February of 2020, when she performed some of her, beautiful abilities there to help me with a question that I had. And from that point onwards, I was kind of determined to stay in touch. And hence here we are today. So, but again, I would encourage you to not just to have a look at it. It's only 20 minutes long, but again, it's number 2, the seer, and just see what you think, but also to add your comments. Now, Karina gave us a lovely comment on that, and I am going to read that to you because I thought it was worth sharing. So Karina, who I'm pretty sure, oh yeah, Karina's here today. Right, so Karina said, I believe we came here knowing all these roles or gifts. However, some of our gifts are more dialed up than others, as you mentioned, John. Through our life experiences, we get glimpses of these gifts, and it's up to us to recognize them so that they can bloom and grow. I'm primarily clairaudient. I am also someone who has journaled/automatic writing for many years, and this has helped me to self-realize and eventually absorb or embody some of these roles. And she says, I really appreciate you and Jolie sharing this amazing content. It is helpful, so keep up the good work. Much love to you both. Well, love to you, Karina, as well. Thank you for that. But yeah, when people from the community just check that out, again, I'll put it all on the newsletter. All these links to all these videos, you'll find it on the channel anyway. But anybody who does want to join the newsletter, send me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life, or through our elevatedplanet.life website contact page, where you've got the free format contact box, and you can send us any message that you would care to. So that's my initial notices on this. But again, as ever, if you can like, subscribe, share as much as possible with these videos, it will help us. It will help us to progress and to grow. So thank you. And before we step into the first part of today's videos that we are going to share with you, Jolie, can I bring you back in for any thoughts or comments?
Yes. I just, thank you, Karina, and the comments that come in, because they're really helpful to letting us know that we're on the right track and we're doing things that resonate with people. And especially since we're moving into this new earth, we kind of need a new energy of collaboration and just collective love for one another and support. So I'm very grateful to be here, and I thank you guys all for being here with us. And let's get on with the show.
Yes, let's get on with the show. And that point that you mentioned, Jolie, there again about communities and involvement and getting closer is very much mirrored today within the show content, particularly in the second section of it. So very, very much on point. But that to that point, yeah, we are now going to go to the first section, which is Elizabeth April, which is a section of a video that she recently released again, which is found this very much on point because it agrees with so many other pieces of work that I have read through, that I have watched, that I have listened to. And so we can come back and compare notes after this. But let's bring Elizabeth on then. So without further ado, bear with me a second. We're going to switch screens.
Just a quick rundown on human history, but I do have many videos on this on my website, so please go check out those videos. I think one main one is called The Hidden Human History of Planet Earth, and I really run down the whole thing. So essentially, this planet was preoccupied by dinosaurs, but also by reptilian beings. The reptilians originally came from off planet. They came to this planet, and then they were here for quite some time. And then all of a sudden, the Anunnaki came to this planet, and they wanted to mine our resources on planet Earth. The reptilians didn't really like that, but they didn't really have a choice because the Anunnaki were a lot more advanced. Eventually, the Anunnaki just didn't have the manpower and also the technology to mine as much as they wanted to. So then the Anunnaki, and this is everything that I've seen in a remote view. So like I said, take it or leave it. Then I saw that the Anunnaki essentially wanted to splice their DNA with the sort of Neanderthal type beings, even predating Neanderthal, on planet Earth in order to create essentially a slave race so that this race of people, beings, whatever, can mine for them. They just wanted to create slaves so that they could mine because the reptilians were like, absolutely not, we're not gonna mine for you, right? So that was the vibe, that happened. Now, interestingly enough, as all of this was going on at a much, much higher level, there is this prophecy that's playing out. Same thing. I have a whole video on my website, multiple videos. Just type in the prophecy planet of planet Earth, literally a whole hour of this. And so at the higher level, the reason why the Galactic Federation allowed this to go on, allowed the Anunnaki to come to this planet and splice their DNA, was because there was this prophecy, and the prophecy essentially said that eventually there was going to be a race, a species, a civilization that was going to contain some of the highest vibrational DNA in the universe and some of the lowest vibrational DNA in the universe, and they're going to be this master hybrid race, okay? And this species was prophesized to end the war of all wars. How is it possible that one race, one civilization, one species could end a war? It's because they are so powerful that, like, other beings, other civilizations would just not kind of have to, like, bow to them, but, like, I don't know, they would be like a master race, basically. This master race, however, has a choice to make, and the choice is, are you going to ascend to the highest possible frequency and unlock your highest vibrational DNA? Or are you going to dip into the lowest frequencies and unlock your lower frequency DNA, which is the reptilian fight or flight, survivalistic mentality, right? Obviously, that master race is actually us. And I always describe human beings as like Superman before Superman knew that he was freaking Superman, okay? This is why there's a depopulation agenda, because they're scared that we have more numbers. This is why they are trying to poison us with heavy metals, because it calcifies our pineal gland and keeps us dumb and dull. This is why they distract us with shitty reality TV shows or false narratives in politics, all right, guys? This entire world is set up so that we do not remember who the fuck we are. And that's why the aliens came to me. I know it sounds so crazy to say this. And I told them that. And I said, really? Like, do I really have to say this? And they're like, yes. This is why, okay? We need to realize who we are and realize that we have the power. We have more power than the Anunnaki. We have more power than the reptilians. We have more power than the Greys. However, we cannot let our ego, which is all we've really been taught to feed, we can't let our ego get in the way of that power. It's almost like we need to learn authentic unity before we understand our capabilities so that we don't bring the ego into those capabilities, right? It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But apparently they want me to talk about it to wake you guys up to who you really fucking are so that we can get this show on the road. We are the prophecy planet. And we are not just hybrids of the Anunnaki. We are also hybrids of the reptilians. We are also hybrids of the Greys. We are also hybrids of the angelics and the celestials. We are also hybrids of the elementals and the Pleiadians. Okay, we are hybrids of many different species. Some of us have more Syrian in us. Some of us have more Anunnaki. Some of us have more Arcturian. You know, so it's just such a variety. If anything, we probably have up to around maybe 20 different species, okay? With the main ones being the ones that I just said, which are the ones that I've seen. We've got the Lyrans, the feline-like beings, as well as the blue avians within us as well. And what's so cool and what they've explained to me over many, many years is that when we are in a different frequency, and think about it as like a radio station, when we turn that dial, okay, to a different radio station, we unlock different traits of our DNA. And right now, science is saying that we have upwards of 90% junk DNA. Yep, nope, don't worry about that stuff. That's just junk. We don't have to talk about that. Okay, cool. Like, what is it though? I'd like to know. Anyway, it's a lot of rambling, but like the shit is important. And funny enough, the last time I had a conversation with the aliens, okay, with the extraterrestrials, about me talking about this stuff was back in, it was like end of 2019. And they came to me and they said, the world is going to change forever in 2020. And you need to tell them about us, the Galactic Federation. And you need to tell them that you are communicating with us. And I laughed out loud and said, you've clearly lost your mind. There is no way I'm ever going to tell anyone that I'm talking to aliens in my mind. Like, that's insane. You couldn't pay me enough, right? To like be the crazy alien girl. And it was that video, that Galactic Federation video, that blew up. And I felt like I found my people. You know, I found my community. I found other starseeds. So the last time they told me to talk about this stuff in a different way was 2020. And now they're telling me it's time. It's time to go deeper. It's time to help them remember. That's what it is, okay? Because we're all so special, and we are all masters, and we are all teachers, and we are all so powerful. And it's about time that we step into that and we remember that.
And we're back. So yeah, I do love that. It's and the good thing is that Elizabeth just added $8.50 to the Elevated Planet swear jar. Bless her. I do love that. I do love her passion. I do love the way she expresses herself with such freedom. And I think that she is here for a very special purpose. And we're going to come back to Jolie on this in a minute as well, because Jolie actually saw her in person yesterday, I think it was, just at the Conscious Life Expo. But we'll come back to that in a second. Now, what really drew my attention on this is that it really, what Elizabeth is talking about here regarding human history really matches absolutely with various other people that I have focused a lot of energy on in recent years, which would be Sarah Brescom and Cosme. Okay. And it's not necessarily the last one about the Avalon, Hypnosis Journey to Avalon is very good. It covers some of this stuff. But a previous book about the trail of the star people, and it's to do with the Trail of Tears and their links to the star people as well. There, it's covered in quite in depth there in terms of these kind of histories. And it's really interesting because also Drumvalo Melchizedek, the reason he came to the planet was because there was a species on the planet that were bending the universal laws to the point of breaking them, but not quite. But humanity needed help. And that would be these reptilians. And the reptilians, they've been around for many millions of years and much, much longer than humanity, which is why they've been very reluctant to go and, doing their best to control humanity from the subterranean kind of world, which they now inhabit. But also they do inhabit through shape-shifting into humans as well. So crazy stuff, though this sounds, as Elizabeth herself would say, it really matches closely with Sarah Brescom Cosme, with Drumvalo Melchizedek, with Dolores Cannon, with Radu Cinema, who did the Transylvania Sunrise series that we've talked about on many occasions. David Icke, right? I mean, David has been talking about reptilians since probably, is it 1980s? I think 1980s. And there's a lot of truth that comes from him. He's been ridiculed to the sun and back, but he stands his ground. He's not, his ego is completely gone, right? He's happy to be ridiculed, but he also has millions of followers now, and rightly so. And Elena Danan as well, another person who I have a lot of time for. But I love what she said about the fact that we are Superman before Superman knows that they're Superman. Because we have so much potential, and I'm convinced we do have so much potential, because every time we dig under the surface of these, the off-planet beings are saying humanity just has no clue how powerful they are. Now we're starting to get it. Now we're starting to peel back the layers. We're starting to get it. And, we are the prophecy planet. That's it. So, this is the thing, having fun with the title this time around. There's a prophecy planet out there. The prophecy planet is us. Going back to ancient times, I don't know how many millions upon millions of years ago, possibly billions, there was a prophecy from some, and again, I don't know how to describe the being, but they were a mystic going back all this time ago. But they said that there would be a planet where there would be a hybridized species that would be the species that would develop to end all wars. And I think that, the fact that it is here and we are that species. Wow. Right. I'm going to talk about more of that after we do the next section. But at this point, I want to bring Jolie back in and for your thoughts on this.
Yes. Elizabeth April, she was really down to earth, and it was nice to see her. And she really talked about transcending timelines. And she spoke about how when she was a little sick and she had lost her voice. And so she spoke about how when she had first gotten sick, she could feel it coming on. So she did all this supplemental, work to try and she was like, and then I realized that I was just catering to my sickness. I didn't need to do that. She's like, I needed to sit in health and wellness, right? Because if I'm playing with my sickness, if I'm sitting in it, I'm giving it power. So what I needed to do was just give my body health, give my body wellness in a quantum form, right? Because you think, well, zinc and oil of oregano are wellness, but she's saying from a quantum energetic perspective to just eschew the sickness completely. Now, of course, that is a practice, obviously,
Yes.
because it's like a lighthouse I like to talk about. We're trying to get it to where the lighthouse is all the way around, right? To let the boats know at 365, 360 degrees, not years, 360 degrees of a circle of light all around us. And that's basically what she's trying to say. So, and she also spoke about how you make, science has found you make 30,000 choices every day. And so she talked to us about making sure you make the right choice. Take radical responsibility for your thoughts and the way that your life looks. Take all of the responsibility. Don't give it to anyone else. And this is part of how we transcend these timelines. So when she spoke about especially being told to tell her audience about aliens speaking to her. And then once she was like, no way. And then once she did it, she found her people. That
Mm,
was inspiring to all of us to let our intuition guide us. I mean, at this Conscious Life Expo, I had to really let go of a lot, even me doing my work, because there were so many different energies in this place. It was really interesting. We had, I don't want to get into details, but you're walking into something that is definitely otherworldly in a lot of ways. And the energy's high vibing. And it was a wonderful experience. I also got to see JJ Brighton and Emilio, which I want to thank them as well. It was really a wonderful experience. And Ronnie, thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. But back to what we're talking about is really sitting in the energy of what you want. I know you may be thinking, well, I'm sitting in a toxic cesspool right now of my life. But what you do is you take some time to see what it is and feel, open the heart. The heart is so important to manifestation. She also spoke about that, like the emotional, um, I guess, fortitude that is necessary for creation.
mm,
So, I mean, I just want to encourage everyone. We're all unique. We all have our own signature. What works for me, Elizabeth April, your friend, may not work for you. And it's about curating and carving out a spiritual path and routine that works for you on a daily basis. So when you are tasked with making those choices, because they start here, they're aligned with where you're going. Now, that's a practice every single day. And we talk, John, sometimes about how just even you're on this path, right? You got this laser focus, but even a 1% move is going to
mhm,
take you, your trajectory is going to be so, far off. So it's
mm.
just important for us to remind ourselves who we are and where we're going. And that is to unspeakable beauty. And let our intuition and our guides and our masters help us along that journey. But just trust. That was also a big issue, was we've got to step into the trust, trusting the process.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that's wonderful, and it's absolutely spot on because and again, I go back to, we were speaking before we came online, and we were talking about, I was talking about, we're doing this like our little own moon alchemy kind of creator kind of thing at the moment, just sort of like doing it so that we can bring this out to elevated planet community and have people join us on that journey of manifesting. And I was saying, okay, well, for this week coming up, and I'd written it down, overcoming the lack programming completely, as if that's a positive statement, and then realizing it's not a positive statement at all. It's actually the abundance mindset. The abundance mindset is the program that is who we are. We are abundance mindset. So forget the fact of overcoming like program. It's actually we are abundant. That is our natural state of being, and actually focusing on that. And it was also interesting because I know when part of the interview with Linda, she was talking about the importance of language, right? And not having the not word in there, and not having the don't word in
exactly.
there.
That's true because the subconscious sees it as an affirmation of that. So you kind of, what you want to do is you want to turn it into its positive partner, right? So um, I want to lose weight, or I can't, whatever. And you say, I am healthy, I am fit, I am well. You stay in that zone
Yeah.
instead of the lack. And be gentle because we've been programmed I mean, millennia to look at what needs fixing
Yeah.
and work on a solution. And that is that slave programming that we want to move into. There's so, I mean, you can't count the grains of sand. You can't count the leaves on a tree. You can't count the blades of grass. That's truly our reality, the
Hmm.
abundance. The
Yeah.
abundance is our reality. That other stuff is an illusion. It's
Yeah.
been created, it's the matrix. And once we begin our practice, what does it do? It begins to dissolve.
Yeah. Yes, it does. It does, and it's nice to know that so many within our existing community are really we're all singing from the same hymn sheet.
Yeah.
But it just helps because we're reinforcing this, and we've got
Mhm.
Linda, Karina, Faye, Donna, and Kit, and everybody's kind of all seeing things the same way, but bringing a little something themselves to the party, right? Because we're all different for that very reason. We're here to be our unique jigsaw puzzle piece. So as the
Yes.
elevated planet jigsaw comes together, all these little pieces are being slotted into places. And it takes us to a world of unspeakable beauty, as we know.
Yes. And we also touched on the mind and how we've got to get out of that and get into the third eye. And the heart automatically is going to be connecting to that. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Also, just the practice of us loving ourselves and looking at ourselves as something important instead of living up to the expectations of others. And I really want to hone this home. Instead of living up to what other people are expecting of you, it's time that you live up to your own expectations. And we support each other. Another way that I'm able to transcend things in the moment is I'm constantly ho'oponoponoing. And when I am in a zone, I see myself taking the hands of other people, opening my heart, sending out love, and taking the hands of other people. Right. And so these types of things help move us from lack and into abundance, and from a place of negativity into limitless. But remember, 30,000 choices, you got to keep the
Yeah.
train moving. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the thing, though, isn't it? Because once you actually do train your mind to spot it, and this is again what Linda says, she's always there trying to spot herself from doing this, from slipping into that, because it's such a program, right? That has been
Mhm.
there since birth that you need to just keep that. But once you actually are out there and you're catching it every time and reeling it in and saying, no, the other side of that is this, and that
Yes.
is the positive affirmation that makes you feel good, because it's even then it's not always just about the words, it's how you feel into those words, because that's
Yes.
the frequency, that's the resonance. So
Yes. That is so right, John, especially when you're in places like the Conscious Expo and you see these speakers speaking and their enthusiasm, their joy for life, for moving the positive energy forward, and you see their aura layer and you realize that they're just sitting in this, I don't want to call it spiritual excellence, or they're sitting in this cocoon of love, of
mm,
unconditional love, is how I would explain it. And of course, they get mad. And of course, there's issues and traumas. But at the same time, they right the ship.
mm,
And I just want to take a moment and say that I know for some people, it's like now some things have come to the surface. And some of the people we've seen as healers that we've looked at and loved, we're finding that they're corrupt, or that we see them as corrupt. But we have to understand that the flesh is weak. And although someone may have made a mistake, does that defile the message? You
mm,
know, can a body, a human being, channel divine life force energy, channel goodness, channel the light, but still have their own picadillos or issues that the flesh calls to?
mm.
So, and that's another thing I want us to kind of think about and marinate on, because cancel culture is real, but that doesn't mean that the spirit is not working through those that we've canceled. you know
Yeah.
so let's try and remember that even though they were on Epstein Island, did they say one or two things that could possibly be useful for us?
Yeah.
See, we're coming into this place where we really have to resolve and dissolve our judgments, our labels, and see beyond what we're our programming.
That's it entirely, because again, we've said it before, we're constantly being called to judgment, right?
Yes.
that is a low frequency emotion right there, because we've not been on their journey. They've not been on our journey. We, going within is where all the answers are, and we don't judge, because unless you walked a mile in somebody's moccasins or whatever they say,
Yeah.
right? You can't judge them. So, okay, great. Well, what do you think? Should we press ahead with the Z's?
Yes, definitely. Let's go.
Okay, so this is the first section. Next week we will continue with this, because this is a decent, it's a good piece. This is not available through YouTube, but it's a really deep conversation by the Z's. So Lee Harris obviously channels the Z's, a galactic collective of 88 who come through him. And it's so wise, and it's such a beautiful message. So we've got the first 10 minutes or so of that today to share with you. Next week, we are going to complete the whole thing, because it is so worth listening to. And it backs up what Elizabeth's talking about. It backs up our job as humanity, right? To this amazing journey that we're on to realize our magnificence, etc. Anyway, without further ado, let's bring on Lee and the Z's. So bear with me a second. We will switch screens.
A pleasure to be here with you all and to speak to you about the coming 5 years. Yes, we will do that, 2026 through 2030. However, we must first say this to make the point clear. There are many of you who are already holding 2030 consciousness. There are many of you who are already holding 2030 consciousness. When we speak about 2030 consciousness, we mean the frequency that will be the measure of consciousness on Earth in 2030. So many of you are already holding, and indeed ahead of, where consciousness will be as an average on the planet in 2030. Why? Because you are leaders and seeders of consciousness. You are here to seed it in your communities. So as you become it, you then help it replicate around the world. Energy likes to replicate itself, and you work on osmosis, meaning as you get near to the energy field of one who is, shall we say, a little more enlightened or conscious than perhaps you are in a certain area, you will start to feel it, and you will start to vibrate accordingly. And if it is your destiny to also become that consciousness, that frequency, this person will start to excite, elevate, or animate you. And that is a beautiful thing. That is a very good thing for all of you. This sharing of consciousness, this sharing of energy. So, there are many of you listening to this. In fact, we would say 60% of you who are here right now are already in the 2030 consciousness. And all of you are a few years ahead at least. So what does that mean? Well, that means in 2030, you will be in possession of a few more years ahead. So you may be in 2035 or even 2040 because of how fast everything is going to be in this next 5 years. Now, some of you just assume that time is speeding up in general. And while that is true, you are also in a quickening phase. It is not necessarily that time will always move at this pace, because of course you will adjust to this pace, so it will no longer feel fast. But we will also tell you that the years of 2020 to 2030 were always going to be fast in terms of the transformation that was going to be required on the planet. Why? A lot of old needs to move out at a faster pace than it did in your younger years, any of you who are incarnate in this time. So there is a quickening between 2020 to 2030 around moving from a world that everyone believed was one kind of world into another kind of world. And that is the period we meet you in. And while it won't be until 2027 that more of the, shall we say, dramatic awakenings happen on the planet. And when we say dramatic, we are not dictating or defining dramatic shifts you need be afraid of, such as climate events, earthquakes, volcanoes. Of course, all of these things are a part of your time as well. These earth shifts are a part of the shift of consciousness on the planet, and often serve to shake up and wake up the people to the fact that you are an alive species on an alive planet, even though many of you have been asked and invited to just live in your mind, to think that your mind is running the whole show, which of course it isn't. The mind is 1/8 of how you are engaging with your life. You are engaging with your life in so many different ways, through so many different senses, through so many different parts of your being, and yet the way that is favored on earth is the mind. Why? Because you are cutting people out of their true power sources if you keep them distracted away from the heart, the third eye, and the alchemical power of the body. And when we say the alchemical power of the body, a body that is treated through a mind lens will be treated in a very third dimensional way. A body that is treated through the lens of the third eye and the heart and connection to the cosmos, you then begin to understand that this body of yours is a miracle. This energy field of yours is a miracle. And that part of the role of this time on earth, and this will become very strongly in focus in the next 2 to 3 years, is health, human health, and the threats to human health on your planet that are man-made, man-created. This is going to increase in your awareness in the next 2 to 3 years. There is going to be an increasing awareness around the level of toxicity on the planet, how it is harming not just humans, but all life on the planet, and how it is causing destruction and death and illness and disease, and how that needs to be remedied. By the time you get to the year of 2030, the remedies and the solutions for this will already be moving into position and place. There will be opposition to that. Even in 2030, there will still be groups that will oppose this, shall we say, forward movement. But at that point, the stranglehold of the current system will no longer be in charge in the same way. So right now, you are at a time where the tightness of your current system, political and global, is becoming increasingly apparent to people around the world. And as that increases in its temperature, more and more people will start to push back against it. And as there is a pushback, the pushback will not need to be dramatic. It will not need to look like a battle. Instead, it will be a creeping awareness. And what we will tell you, and this is something we have shared before, there are many who are working behind the scenes, out of plain sight, who are working to bring about these changes to the areas of your systems that are corrupt, that are not working on behalf of humans, and in fact are the opposite. So you are going to continue to see some of that play out between now and 2027. But as you go through this coming 5 years, there will begin to be even more of a divide between people than you have seen thus far, but not a division that you need to be afraid of. There will be more of a, shall we say, subgroup experience beginning to happen. There will be those groups who no longer pay attention to the mainstream world and its ways of being. They will, if you like, and are already doing this in many cases, go off by themselves and start creating the new world in many different ways. They will create a world of new consciousness for others, new ways of being human, new ways of interacting as humans, new ways of remembering the alchemical power of this magnificent body of yours. So you are going to see, as the world loses some of its centralization, you are going to see more subgroups starting to happen within countries, but you will also see a little more individuation between countries. This will be healthy. Do not be afraid of it. We understand that many of you who come from the principle of oneness and would like to see a world of no borders, integration, everyone getting along with each other. Yes, that's a beautiful aim, but that's not where you started. That's not the starting point for Earth, and that's not where you find yourselves today. There will be those who, like you, will embrace that with open arms and see that as heaven. There will be others who will see that as a threat to their existence and how things are and how they like things to be. So, brace yourselves that in the coming years, you are going to see a little more separation of subgroups. And there's nothing wrong with this. Do not be afraid of it. Some of you will find yourselves deeply working with some of these groups. You will find soul tribe family members that you will collaborate with, get together with, come up with incredible innovations alongside. And working in community is going to be very important for many of you. Of course, there will always be those who like to work alone. That is not going away on Earth. There will be those individuals who like to work alone, communing with spirit, being in that relationship. They are less inclined to work with other humans. But collaborative community spirit is going to be very important, and it's going to be something that many of you are not only cultivating and developing, but you will also be, some of you will be helping create templates for this for the future.
And we are back. So I like to think, in fact, I know that Elevated Planet is one of those communities that the Z's are referencing. And I don't doubt there are many, many around the globe where we are coming together in heart-based community, looking towards our future as, you know, with unity consciousness, Christ-based unity consciousness and all this, and just pulling back the layers of programming and conditioning that is enabling us to be at that 2030 consciousness and beyond. Okay. And I'm sure that is kind of our purpose as a community. There's no doubt in my mind. So I want to say a deepest gratitude to the Z's and to Devor Bozik, who is Lee's musical collaborator. And he does definitely add something to the ambience of these Z's channelings. So thank you very much. Now, one thing I wanted to mention at this point, like yesterday morning, so the Saturday morning, early hours of the morning, I suddenly had this flurry of ideas and I had to get up, you know, the early hours of the morning and write this up to share with you here and now. Okay, so this is basically what came through as follows. There is someone who resides on the planet right now who I know has met a future version of humanity. And they are so advanced that it truly tests the boundaries of our beliefs, except that I personally have no doubt that this is true. These beings, who are the future version of us, are not easy to reach. You have to traverse a couple of stargates that span 2 separate universes to find them. And they are truly magnificent. They carry immense power and immense love that is almost beyond human comprehension. In fact, it probably is beyond, you know, comprehension at this particular point in time. Knowing this sets a perspective around the day-to-day chaotic events that surround us, and we realize that they are trivia compared to who we really are and where we are heading. But there is a decision for each and every person to make, and that 2030 consciousness and beyond that the Z's reference is what this is all about. If you are here watching this, the chances are very strong that you are here in the process of activating your higher frequency strands of DNA. And we also have to pause to show gratitude to the shadow side, both on the planet and in ourselves, because without shadow, there can be no light. So love is the answer to everything. Fear is just the virus that was introduced to humanity to make the Ascension game more interesting. Fear is here to be transcended, and in reality, love is all there really is. It is who we are. We are just here to peel away the layers of distortion and false narrative to uncover the pure light that we are. This is not a path that will be chosen by all, but we welcome all those who wish to cross the bridge with us. It is an incredible honor to be here on the planet right now. Every last one of us is already a master in their individuated journeys as individuated expressions of divinity. And there endeth the early Saturday morning scribblings. Now, that person that I referenced that has crossed through these different stargates, the first stargate, and here's the clue, the first stargate was on Neptune in one of the underwater cities there, which, you know, I know that most people, no, I don't know, most people would know that they're there, but yeah, not a human civilization, mind you, I would say, but civilization that lives under the waters of Neptune. So, and I feel that if anybody within our community knows the answer to this particular question, then I think Joy Castleman probably does, and she's probably jumping up and down now, looking at her CV, saying, "Yeah, I know that. I know that." Anyway, but I believe that humanity is destined to become what is ultimately known as the architects. Okay, the very highest form of expression that is out there. Which effectively means we become the overseers of the universe. Now, I don't imagine in the rest of my lifetime I am going to realize that particular ambition, but we are here. What's really interesting to me is that this 5-year frame that we're in right now, 2026 to 2030, is really pivotal. And it's pivotal for the consciousness of the collective, for humanity, and for us individually. We all have choices. And that's why it's so important to get this message out there, because that is how powerful we are. And we are going to continue with that message from the Z's next week. I will be traveling a lot next week, so it's perfect because that will just give us the program right there, right? We'll still be doing it live. We'll still be having discussions around it. But that is a message that is worth really immersing ourselves in, because it is very empowering. When we know what to expect in the years ahead, then it just sets us up beautifully to enable us to still stride on towards a world of unspeakable beauty when chaos may reign around us, but we can transcend that. That's part of the test. So Jolie, could I bring you back in, please, for your thoughts?
Yes. And when Lee was talking about time, and he was channeling that, it brought me back to something that Elizabeth April spoke about in regards to time and frequency. And she was like, you can transcend these timelines. And she had done an experiment where she took 2 bananas from the same bunch and she put one on one side of the house with the glass dome over it and another on the other side of the house with the glass dome. And she said one of them was her old banana. And she would go over there and she would say, you're just getting so old and you're getting dark spots and da. And then she would go to the other banana and she would say, you just stay so green. Your life is just extended. You stay absolutely youthful and full. And she says, before you know it, this banana was brown and ready for the smoothie. And then the other banana just stayed the way that it was for quite a bit of time. And she used that analogy or that experiment to let us know about those 30,000 thoughts, right? And how to she was able to prove to herself that that actually works, right? That
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
positivity that you put in to whatever yourself or whatever other energy entity is going to manifest. So just kind of take that in, because think about how you talk about yourself. Oh, I'm so stupid. That was dumb. Self-deprecating is the death knell to your manifestation. So just remember that. I'd also like to skip over to Emilio and JJ Brighton, which they had a wonderful sort of integration of energy, because we always talk about the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And JJ was like, we're still in duality there. The pyramid is the most, I guess, the strongest in the sacred geometry. It's one of the most highest vibing. And so what you have to bring in order to integrate divine masculine and divine feminine is the divine child
Mm-hmm.
within you. And so she talked about these children coming through. We have the indigo children. Now she's talking about how we have the we're moving into prismatic children. She had one before that, which it's slipping my mind, but dealing with these divine children and bringing that within you, like connecting with that within you. And what does that look like? Lots of play, movement, nature. These are the things that's going to connect you to the remembering, because the children that are coming in, the veils are dropped for a lot of them, and they're communicating with these galactic beings, chrysalis children, prismatic children. These children are coming in with this knowledge and this wisdom. So when you're in your practice and in your prayers and meditation, to bring the divine masculine and feminine together, bring your divine child in for that pyramid, or that strength of integrating the energy. And then it becomes a lot easier to trust and to manifest, because now the loops are closing.
Mm, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it kind of reminds me as well, and I've mentioned this before, but like from the consciousness of Merlin, okay, talking about the art of manifesting. And I actually have it here, just like permanently on my desk, literally under some perspex, so I can never fail to remember it. And it was part of it is a paragraph called Magic that says, what's preventing the magic from coming into your lives are your beliefs and your fear of stepping outside of the commonly established. Your environment has made you lose confidence in yourself. Is essentially if you're able to influence your reality and realities in general. Be like a child. Be like a child, have fun, try things out without taking yourself too seriously while doing it seriously. Your actions under the sun of your self-confidence will gain momentum. Stay focused on what you're doing and not on the effects of what you're doing. Otherwise, the flow of magic will stop as you switch to another mode. Stay focused. Be free. I repeat, have fun. Don't put pressure on yourself. Have fun. Reality is a playground. If you give yourself permission to play in it, I'm talking here about the visible and the invisible. You are connected by a body on this planet, but you don't have to remain confined to it. But again, talking about that child, right? That childlike sense of wonder with the world is a real strength that people can have, right? But it's important. We can't take ourselves too seriously. This is a journey. We're here to have fun, to enjoy.
Yes, that's correct. And all the rest is just a bunch of viruses and programming that are sort of like, tilting the system. But as we know, there's you break it, we fix it,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in the spiritual world. So take your hard drive to the divine and let it work out all the viruses and the issues you may be having. What does that look like? That looks like sitting down in nature. That looks like digging deeper. What is prana? What is this? What is, these things that help us to reconnect with our highest timeline, because it exists simultaneously with this one. So what are you choosing? We really have to make that choice now, 3D or 5D. And it looks completely different from each other. What is 3D? Judgment, labeling, you know, um, the past, the future. What is 5D? The present, joy, bliss, forgiveness, moving past things that are petty. I know that the more petty our society gets, the more we should become less that way, or
Mm,
what's the word? We
mm.
should become expansive. That's what we are. We are expansive in this community. So these are the things that I'm so blessed to be able to give and understand and, just sit in that energy, because that when she talked about bringing in the divine child, that I sort of like, wow, that was an activation that she gave us, because she's right. You have got to bring in the child, because that's what integrates masculine and feminine. I found that to be absolutely mind blowing.
That
So,
makes so much sense. No, but
yes,
it
it
does.
does.
It feels right.
Yes.
Absolutely feels right. That is
Yeah.
the pyramid, and I know Rua Bull as well talks often about the importance of the inner child to
Yeah.
to kind of complete who we are and to never lose touch of that. So that's
Yeah.
brilliant. And we've had a run of comments from the community as well. Well, just before we go to the meditation, which will follow any moment now. But thank you. I really appreciate it. So, it really it means a lot. It really does. So when we pull these things together, to know that we have community who are with us, to know that you're here, add in your thoughts, add in your energy, right? Add in your comments, because we've got a magnificent journey ahead of us together, right? That's the way I look at it. And this community is going to grow, and it's going to get more expansive, and it is going to rock our world.
Definitely.
So thank you, everybody. Lovely, lovely comments. Okay, Jolie, are we ready to go to meditation?
Yes, please, let's move forward.
Okay, so what we're going to do, we're just going to catch a snippet there of the Z's to take us through to Jolie's wonderful meditation that is to follow. So Z's, wisdom, followed by Jolie. Bear with me a second. We will switch screens and we will be back with Lee Harris.
A body that is treated through a mind lens will be treated in a very third-dimensional way. A body that is treated through the lens of the third eye and the heart and connection to the cosmos, you then begin to understand that this body of yours is a miracle. This energy field of yours is a miracle. There will be those groups who no longer pay attention to the mainstream world and its ways of being. They will, if you like, go off by themselves and start creating the new world in many different ways. They will create a world of new consciousness for others, new ways of being human, new ways of interacting as humans, new ways of remembering the alchemical power of this magnificent body of yours. Collaborative community spirit is going to be very important, and it's going to be something that many of you are not only cultivating and developing, but you will also be, some of you will be helping create templates for this for the future.
Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take another deep breath in and exhale. Bring your awareness to the center of your chest and your heart-based space where you command for your heartbeat and your breath to sync up in support of your health and your wellness. As you then begin to ground your energy with a beautiful, strong grounding cord that is 6 inches in diameter, connected to your first chakra. Visualize and feel it as it moves down through the layers of Mother Earth, moving into her core, rooting itself into her wisdom, her knowledge, her beauty. Give Mother Earth gratitude. Tell her thank you and give her so much unconditional love as she returns it. Feel and see those golden, heart-shaped scrubbing bubbles blanketing the inside and the outside of your grounding cord. They're heart-shaped roses, as roses represent the energy of transmuting negative energy into positive energy, as well as protection. So let them do their thing. As you bring your awareness back into your heart, you take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, pull your aura in to be 1.5 feet around you. Call your higher self to stand above your crown in the power position, a comfortable distance. And snap in your astral body and allow for all of that information, the blessings, and the gifts that you received or it gathered while you were sleeping. Allow for that energy to be absorbed. So as you breathe with the rhythm of your body, see and feel your astral body lock in to your physical body and give you all those messages. And now, as you take a deep breath in And on the exhale, visualize your crown opening like the lens of a camera. And 85% cosmic gold life force energy comes cascading down from the heavens, raining down on your higher self. It's just basking in the glory of creation and unconditional love. And as this essence moves in the space between your higher self and your crown, it begins to focus itself gently down, saturating you with so much love, so much joy and bliss. And remembering, and while this 85% cosmic gold is making its way down, take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, visualize the bottoms of your feet opening like the lens of a camera. As you call in 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you. Today, I ask you to join me in working with water. So for those of you who are called, bring in the color of the deep blue sea and allow for it to pool in the bottoms of your feet, traveling up the side channels of your legs and meeting with that cosmic gold life force energy. And as Mother Earth and cosmic divine meet, it begins to fill you up like water fills up a cup. Feel it moving through your body, bringing health, wellness, prosperity, abundance as it moves into that core, bringing in health and wellness, bringing in zinc, selenium, copper, all of the nutrients of Mother Earth combined with the magic of cosmic life force energy, feeding your cells in a quantum way, helping you to transcend timelines as this essence moves up into your chest, swirling around the heart, bringing in so much love, removing and resolving any type of concretizing hardness in the heart, bringing that softness back, that restoration and that recalibration to divine unconditional love, compassion, forgiveness. So let this essence kind of just stay right here as you say to yourself, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And you allow for that energy to swirl around your heart as that essence then begins to move up into your shoulders, trickling down into your hands and these portals of creativity. So take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, open your hand chakras like the lens of a camera and allow for that essence to begin to seep out into your aura layer, allowing anything you're ready to let go of and release to be resolved and dissolved and taken down to that grounding cord, down into Mother Earth, where she recycles it into positive, creative life force energy for anyone to use. As this essence begins to move up those arms, traveling into the neck, what does it do? It balances those hormones. It moves out any untruths and exaggeration, and it brings in divine integrity. And it gives you a language of light and of love to inspire and illuminate your fellow man as it then goes back up into the jaw and the mouth and the teeth, giving you words of wisdom and knowledge. And you're speaking life and creativity into existence as you smell the beauty of Mother Earth and you see the divinity all around you. And you hear the horns of love and abundance. as that essence then begins to sprout out of your crown and fill up your aura layer. Now things are coming in the feet and going out of the feet. Things are going in the crown and coming out of the crown. So work that out. Get into the details of your health and your wellness and this energy working through you. As you allow for this essence to just ooze and sprout into your aura layer, lighting it up, filling it up with so much love, so much joy, magnetizing abundance, prosperity, calming down the polarity, bringing us to a place of harmony and integration. So just breathe with the rhythm of your body and allow for this plasmatic essence of Mother Earth and the divine combined to move through your body and swirl throughout your aura layer, allowing you to let go of anything that no longer serves you, anything you're ready to let go of and release. See those traumas, those judgments, those toxins, that excess mass that is useless, that no longer serves. Drain it down that grounding cord. And above our head, the Creator, the divine Creator, has placed a beautiful golden sun, and inside of it is filled with divine positive expansion. This golden sun is filled with divine positive expansion. And inside this beautiful sun is a golden pyramid. It's beautiful. And on the right side is a divine masculine. On the left side is a divine feminine. And at the top is a divine child. So let this marinate and let the Creator fill it with divine positive expansion. Because we're going to focus on connecting with nature in a quantum way. And so we're going to allow for this energy of the deep blue sea to call in the joyfulness of the dolphin and the wisdom of the whale. If you take a moment and just feel and hear the dolphins as they move up and into your feet, that energy of the dolphin. My dolphins don't fit in my feet. You have gone quantum, my friend. Bring in the whales and the whale energy. Hear the sounds as that essence moves throughout your body, moves throughout that cosmic divine life force energy, bringing you the knowledge, the wisdom, and the love of the whale and of the dolphin. Dolphins are so playful. They're so childlike. Feel their energy of laughter, of joy, of freedom, liberty, and sovereignty as they move through the vastness of the ocean. And they move that energy and that vastness into you. So allow for this energy to move all throughout your body. I see dolphins like sprouting out of my crown and my hands, these little miniature little dolphins and whales, and the energies flowing and moving through my aura layer. And I hear the of the whale and the of the dolphin through your aura layer, in your heart, moving through the mind, moving out any limits, negative thoughts, beliefs, and moving in the limitlessness and the expansion and the vastness of that deep blue sea. as you breathe with the rhythm of your body. And let these dolphins and these whales and the energy of nature and the quantum field regulate your nervous system, allowing for more trust and safety to help you move and inspire you to grow. Knowing that you are a limitless being of light and blessings here to share your gifts with the prophecy planet, humanity, mankind, and beyond. You are the answer. So now, see your higher self. Reach up and grab that beautiful golden sun of divine positive expansion with the pyramid of divine masculine, feminine, and the divine child. Pull down through itself all the way down. And when it gets into the space between it, the higher self, and your crown, this beautiful golden sun focuses itself and begins to break into tiny little beads as it enters your crown and integrate with those 50 trillion cells. As that dolphin energy and that whale energy, it begins to become formless and one with you. As you integrate, it's so smooth and beautiful as your essence has taken on the wisdom and the knowledge and the joy and the laughter and the love and the expansion of nature in a positively emotional way. Feel what it feels like to be one with the quantum energy of nature, of creation, as this energy has now become a part of your signature. So the whales and the dolphins, if they had that shape, and now just energy, as that positive divine expansion has engulfed it and turned it into unconditional love and divine creativity. And that inner child has integrated the divine masculine and feminine. And that portal from the heart to the third eye, center of the head, has opened. Feel this energy as you breathe with the rhythm of your body. And know that you are the answer. You are abundant. You are love. You are joy. You are well. So take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, relax your body and feel the integration and the activation of divine positive expansion. Move out from your aura layer and into your environment, touching all of those you come in contact with, transforming negativity into positive, creative life force energy. So now, as you take a deep breath in and exhale, visualize your crown closing like the lens of a camera, and that cosmic gold life force energy ascending back up into the heavens, but being right there for you at any time. In fact, you are one with it. You have access to it within you. As you take another deep breath in, and on the exhale, You're going to gently close your hand chakras. And if your heart was open, you can close the double doors of your heart or keep them cracked, whatever works for you. Take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to close our feet chakras. And we're going to see that golden, divine, positive expansion energy mixed with Mother Earth and cosmic divine move down our grounding cord, chasing those golden, heart-shaped scrubbing bubbles into the core of Mother Earth. So watch this golden essence with the blue of the deep blue sea moving back down into Mother Earth, all the way down to your roots. Any excess we give to her with so much thanks and gratitude. Take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, you can open your eyes.
That was one of my all-time favorites.
I hope so. We did something new. I was very inspired by J.J. Brighton and the Whale Father and the Whale Mother and that knowledge. And I can remember my friend of mine. His name is Emmanuel Dogger. He did a dolphin meditation, and everyone was laughing and having a good time. And I just sat there like, bah humbug. I couldn't feel any of that energy of bliss and of happiness and joy and laughter that the dolphins bring. I have come so far because today I'm doing a dolphin meditation. I'm making dolphin and whale noises. So, we have come a long way here.
Sure. I
And
thought, sorry, I was just going to say, I thought for a moment there I was under the deep ocean there when I was hearing those whale and dolphin noises there.
yeah,
So,
so your imagination is powerful. I said before on the Shift Network when I was on there, I was like, everything is pretty much based on your imagination. It comes in first as a thought from your imagination, and then it's made manifest. And part of the programming, the conditioning we have a problem with is before all of this technology or, we're receiving so much, we would think about something, and that's that inner child. Whenever you see a child think about something, it's automatically ready to do it. Oh, I want to paint, but no, I want to play jacks. No, I want to go play ball. And we go, stop that. What are you, schizophrenic? You're manic. What? Now we start labeling the imagination as being bad and then medicating it, right? So I just wanted to say that childlike, innocence, and bring it in. That's nature. That's life. We always want to be professional. Let me tell you something. When somebody's professional, they're either going to, rob your pockets, exploit your energy, or just, you know, depress you. So let's try to be more childlike, more loving, more joyful instead of professional.
yes. Yes. And that's something we've discovered over these last few months, isn't it? That, our imagination is a superpower. And it's a
Yeah.
superpower that's been deliberately suppressed as part of the programming and conditioning. And
Yeah.
now we realize we can exercise that and, just step back into that power. How amazing is that? And that journey that we've just been on was magical. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Oh, thank you so much for that. And I want to give another shout out to Ronnie. Thank you so much for being a part of our community, as well as Karina and Faye and Lynn and all of you. You've just shown up for us, and we are so, so grateful. And of
Yes,
course, Joy Castleman. And we have so many beautiful people. Thank you.
we definitely do. Very, very grateful. In fact, Ronnie's here now. Ronnie did just put a
Ah,
comment there to
Ronnie.
say, love this meditation, Jolie, said Ronnie.
Thank you, Ronnie. It was
And
definitely inspired due to your kindness and just abundance.
yes, thank you, Ronnie. Thank you. On behalf of Elevated Planet. And Karina said the divine child is always present within us, but is hidden beneath layers of ego and conditioning. The type
Yes. We need to have Karina come on the show, don't we?
Yeah.
Karina needs to be a guest.
To be
Like, we
honest,
need to
to
just
be honest,
listen to
we need to just
Karina's
hand it all
wisdom.
over to the community because they're brilliant, and Faye as well, with the
Yeah.
connection thing there, and Karina, thank you, Jolie. That was a playful and nurturing meditation. The aperture is widening. Yeah, and we got Kelly Steiner. I love you too. This was such a beautiful
Thank you.
experience. Thank you for sharing your presence with us. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Heart-based community, that's what life is really all about. So thank you. We truly love you all, and
Yeah.
you know, as I say, share it far and wide. Whoever you know will resonate with this message, we want to get that message to them, so we will leave that to your discretion, and we will grow our community, and it's going to be beautiful. So I'm very excited about it. Anyway, we're going into wrap-up mode now, Jolie.
Yes, we are ready to go. I think we've taken up enough of your time, but hopefully you'll take that, as they said at the Conscious Life Expo, take that out there and use it, in your everyday life, what we've done, just really try, but be gentle on yourself. The
Yeah.
programming wants you to self-deprecate. Don't do that.
No.
Or speak positively, I should say, of yourself.
Exactly.
Always.
Yes.
Every moment.
Yes, and that's it. That's the importance of the way that we phrase things, the way that we put that positive context, but even more so is the feeling of that as well. Feel those words, feel the joy, feel the happiness. And that is it. So newsletter goes out tomorrow with the edited version of the show. And again, anybody who wants to join our distribution list, email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life or come through our elevatedplanet.life website onto our contact page with the free format contact box and reach out to us that way. And there will be no Pam meditation on Thursday because I'm going to be traveling over these next few days. So it will be next Sunday where we come back with the live again, and we will continue with the wonderful work of Lee Harris and the Z's to fill more boxes in on what we can expect in the future. So I think that's about it, apart from...
Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the other side.
Fantastic. Thank you. Love your community. Thank you very much, Jolie. Brilliant as always.
Thank you, John.
We love you, and we'll see you all in a week's time.
Yes. Thank you.